Totally independent. Fiercely pursuing accountability on policy and implementation. It's time for another DJ L7 candidate interview.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJ L7. Today, I got another candidate for the series coming up. Very excited about this one, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead. Welcome to the program.
Okay, well, my name is Geoff Young. Thank you for having me on. I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and I am running for the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm a Democrat in Kentucky's 6th Congressional District, which is central and part of eastern Kentucky.
Okay, so you've run for office before?
Yes, several times. I started running for office in 2012, and then I realized that the incumbent here in the U.S. House of Representatives, a Republican named Andy Barr, was really damaging, dangerous for our country, real neocon, pro-war. And I started running against him in 2012. I've run against him every 2 years. I'm sorry, in 2014 till right now, every 2 years.
Is Kentucky how's Kentucky versus blue versus red? Is it like set for a flip, or is it pretty strong red, or what's going on?
Well, there are slightly more registered Democrats in Kentucky than Republicans. I'd call it a purple state.
Okay.
Almost the entire state, however, elects Republicans. We have 2 Republican senators, Mitch McConnell, very, very senior senator, and Rand Paul. What?
Everybody's favorite, Mitch McConnell. Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And Rand Paul, who is an interesting person.
He's been good in some ways and disappointing in others. That's a general consensus, right?
What?
On some things he was exciting. A lot of people liked his dad better. But
Yeah.
it is what
Yeah,
it is.
right.
Yeah. Hey, but
I like his dad better.
I'm actually anti-war myself. Just so you know, my parents are actually we're survivors of the Korean War. As children, they were there. And
Wow.
yeah, so I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm also I was a supporter of Tulsi during the campaign. Now I'm kind of like freelance, but I do also have, I appreciate a strong anti-war message, but I'm also support the veterans as well. Yeah.
Okay. So well, I appreciate that too.
Yeah, I should become an associate member of the Veterans for Peace of New York chapter soon. Yeah. So
fantastic.
So that's really cool that you're running in these. So how do the other races go? Because I know there's a lot of this race actually after redistricting. Is that going to help you, hurt you? What have they redistricted yet? Mostly, yeah, right.
The legislature in Kentucky is entirely dominated by Republicans. They did a redistricting plan. It's very partisan. Some of the districts look absolutely ridiculous. There's one that goes from the Mississippi River in far western Kentucky, and they changed it so it takes Franklin County, the capital, the county where the capital, Frankfort, is located. So they kind of grabbed Frankfort. They've got a district that looks like a snake. The Kentucky Democratic Party challenged that in court. So this redistricting may or may not go through as written.
Yeah,
if it does go through, it'll take away some Democrats from my district.
Okay. Now the thing is that I like to put my partners first, so I do actually have a series of questions that I ask for my friends, because I do work with a bunch of different political organizations. Well, hopefully soon Veterans for Peace. That I've been waiting to hook up with him for a long time. I'm really excited. Thanks, Zul. Thank you. Yeah, I know he's watching. I hope he's watching. So the first one I'm going to put is the Assange people. How do you think Assange? Would you support freeing Assange?
Definitely.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not even a U.S. citizen. Somehow the United States got its fingers into various other countries' legal systems, and he's now being held in a British prison. His health and life are in danger. He could die there. And he's one of the most effective, one of the best journalists in the world today.
I deeply appreciate your
And
topic on this, your support on this topic. So we're trying to get a critical mass of candidates to support this plan, and that's amazing. The second one is, what's your position on UBI?
it'd probably be good.
Okay.
I would support it for
Yeah.
sure.
Just so you, yeah.
America has an incredibly uh, skewed distribution of wealth and income right now, similar to, or perhaps even a little worse than the 1920s before the Great Crash and the Great Depression. So, basically, I'm a Bernie Sanders Democrat on financial and domestic issues, and I'm totally, strongly anti-war and foreign policy. My main focus is foreign policy. I had a couple of courses at MIT where I went for an undergrad in economics with Noam Chomsky, and they were about U.S. foreign policy after World War II. Very fascinating courses. I've followed it closely ever since then, for the last 40 years.
Okay. So yeah, I deeply appreciate your on the UBI. Just so you know too, on the UBI thing, for the critics of UBI, any plan can be messed up. So it's important that, right, yeah, that we be responsible about the way that it's it's implemented. So I'm not saying the critics of UBI are wrong either, right? There is no magic solution here, right? Yeah, whatever we have planned, right, it could work or not work, but I agree with this guy overall. UBI, right, will will give the poorest and the most at-risk communities, right, a lifeline. So I'm not against it. Yeah. So thank you for supporting that. I do support UBI as well. Whatever,
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly my position. It's going to help the most desperate Americans
Another issue
and
that I work with
Kentuckians.
is the disabled community. And one thing that happens in the
Right.
disabled community is that right now, according to law, right, they're being allowed to be paid sub-minimum wage. Now, if we look at minimum wage, it's almost like a subsistence wage. Like people like say, oh, with this minimal amount of money, right, you might be able to afford this much amount of rent. But you have an extra like challenges as a disabled person, and they'll have to pay you less than minimum wage. Like we could either do like federal subsidies or maybe something, right? Yeah, but we gotta give these people. What I mean, that's what I would. You support at least minimum wage for people with disabilities?
Yes.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah, disabled community thanks you as well. Another one is the trans community. That's another community that I am like looking out for. Now the thing is that we look at the trans community, and the thing is that they face a lot of discrimination in their lives. It's harder for them to find jobs, and I get it, right? Now the thing is that let's take a look at public housing. Now the thing is that we might look in public housing, and they might get like beat up or something, or unpleasant experiences that end up like make them not want to live in public housing. And if let's say, for example, right, we look at the percentages or something, right, and we say, for some reason, right, only 2% of people self-identify as trans, right, that's also a problem, like self-identification, right, but only 2% of people self-identify as trans in the public housing community, but we know that there's, right, I'm just making up numbers here, 10% of the people, right, yeah, are shown to have applied for public housing. There seems to be discrepancy in terms of this at-risk community or this discriminated community being able to access public resources. So what would you do to like, right, there's no law saying you can discriminate against them, but still it happens anyways, right? How can you like help to get this community, right, just what is like fair, what everybody else is getting?
Well, I think the the biggest problem or danger to the trans community is violence directed against them.
Okay.
And I think that every police department in the country and the federal prosecutors should be on the lookout for violence against trans people and make sure that those alleged crimes are investigated and prosecuted. I think that they have to be protected by law enforcement. They shouldn't be allowed to fall through the cracks.
Okay. Now there's some interesting little like tidbits of this particular problem, right? That can help us like understand better your thoughts on maybe just broader subjects, right? But so one idea is that like this idea of percentages or quotas, right? Yeah. How do you feel about like or people also said like maybe let's put like dedicated housing for people who are trans, right? But then that could also be considered ghettoization, right? Or forcing them
Mm.
into like, so this is a little complex. And I understand if you, right, but if you have any particular thoughts on these particular issues regarding this problem or just these types of problems of accessibility.
Yeah, I really don't.
Okay.
I don't have enough information on that
Yeah. And I would
to
actually just, I think
express
that's
an
actually the right
opinion.
answer. And I'm not just trying to like, assist, but the fact of the matter is that each problem is individual and people who have one answer for everything, I think that's a mistake, right? Yeah, you can't use a hammer for everything,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, sometimes it's
Well,
a skewer,
I
but
have one answer for almost everything, and that is cutting the military so-called defense budget by at least 60%.
I like that.
That would free up resources for all kinds of housing. Could solve the homelessness problem, could solve the student debt problem, and it could fund Medicare for all. And it would also reduce the amount of trouble that our leaders can get into. If the military were a lot smaller, it could defend this country just fine. There's nobody threatening to invade us. And that military budget has to be cut.
Sure. Okay. Let me so you said that you're running for a national, right? For a federal position, right? So we look
Yes.
at the local, right? They take care of police, right? We take the local, they take care of, right, like schools, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Federal does involve somewhat, right? So let's take a look at some of these broader picture things. One of the things that we could take a look at, probably a hot topic of the moment, right? Maybe people are sick of it, right? Yeah. COVID mandates, COVID stuff, right? What's your position reopening, right? Do you have any thoughts or positions on that?
I'm opposed to mandates and economic clubs, such as threats of loss of employment, to coerce people into getting vaccinated. It's a human rights violation. One of the principles, the Nuremberg principles, which were developed after World War II ended, is that there should be no medical procedures uh, performed on anyone without their informed consent. Okay. And
Sounds reasonable to me.
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, there's nothing more personal than what is injected into your body. So, personally, I think the America has mismanaged this COVID thing.
Sure.
It has ignored treatments such as ivermectin, and it has put all its eggs in the vaccination basket. And the two vaccines I'm aware of are not, mRNA potions.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of doubt in my mind as to whether they are effective or safe. You're seeing huge amounts of adverse reactions. Other countries have handled this much better.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything. I really like that take. That's just me personally, yeah. I'm sure my viewers will come up with their own particular ideas on that topic, yeah. But thank you for sharing. All right, so let's take another issue right here. The thing is that, I know education is a local issue, right? But we can see that a lot of our institutions are failing us. Do you have any particular thoughts on education?
That's a topic I don't know really much about.
Okay. Well, just so you know, I think,
I think homeschooling should be allowed. There should, it should be possible to homeschool, but for people who can't do that or don't want to do that, we should have a public school system that is adequately funded. And, that's about all I know about education.
well, it seems like you have a lot of libertarian leanings. So actually, I'm contacting the Larry Sharp campaign down here, and maybe we'll find you some other supporters down there to help just pad the rolls a little bit and help you out. Maybe we could get a win here. We'll see. Yeah, you seem pretty cool.
I have I have a fair number of friends who are libertarians.
Okay, my phone Go ahead.
I can relate much better to the libertarian wing of the Republican Party and to libertarians, than I can to the Mitch McConnell wing.
Hey, quick question, right? You're out here supporting Assange, fighting the military-industrial complex. How the hell did you become a Democrat? What is that? You get what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
How did you, right?
At age 18, I registered as a Democrat. I'm from a liberal middle-class family in
Is that
Massachusetts.
Jimmy
And
Carter era?
pardon me?
Is that Jimmy Carter era? When you were 18?
Um,
Because he was pretty cool.
yeah, I liked him. Well, I disliked him less than any other president in my lifetime. Yeah, it was about then. A little before him.
Okay.
Uh, and so I've been a Democrat most of my life. But I often voted for president for third parties.
Jill Stein?
Never voted for a Republican for president. Probably never will.
I get that. Cool. Well, appreciate that. Yes. So, as in terms of your local organizing and stuff like that, don't you butt heads with like the establishment Democrats and stuff that are playing with the corporate stuff?
I bump heads with them.
Am I right?
Yeah, I bump heads with them very hard.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, what is this? Yeah, what kind of Democrat are you, man? What is this? Explain this to me.
No, it's more like we have the unquestionable right to rig our own primaries. I told you I've run for the U.S. House in this district, like what, 5-6 times. Every time they rigged it. They can't rig it this year.
Nice.
I'm probably going to win this primary, and there's nothing they can do about it.
You've just been building that momentum just over the years, learning how to do it, just getting better at it. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And by the way, people out there that right, because the thing is that I'm in New York City, so like the big machine Democrats are out here, but the fact is that each locality has its own flavor of things going on. Right now, the Bernie-crats took over right? This guy's doing it in Kentucky. That's fucking amazing, right? You heard the things he's saying. This is not the Democrats that you guys are thinking, right? He's not your normal Democrat. You guys look at like what the Bernie-crats did in Nevada, right? We're trying to do that in New York City right now with county committee, right? And that's going on in March. And we can take over here too. That's an inspirational story, dude. Straight up, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Well,
by the way, you said education, not your expertise.
They rigged it so many times. Democrats here, establishment of the Kentucky Democratic Party, rigged it in 2014, probably 2016, 2018. In 2020, I ran as a Republican. I switched parties. Ran in the Republican primary against Andy Barr because I knew I would never get the nomination as a Democrat. I think, and I found out that they are exactly as corrupt as the Kentucky Democratic Party is. Republican Party of Kentucky rigged their primary in precisely the same way. So now I'm a Democrat again.
That's fucking so incredible because you worked also with Act Blue or whatever that is, and you've also worked with the Republican side of things. So you work with both systems. So that gives you a more broader, and you've learned the techniques. That's a hot thing. Honestly, I work with a lot of coalitional people, right? Nation builder. I touch all of those. So, as a player in the game, what I mean? I don't want to blow you too hard. You know what I mean? So like, I'm gonna ask some other questions, right? There's still chances to mess up here, but you're doing pretty fucking good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, look, education isn't your expertise, right? Yeah. But what kind of got you into this, or what's your area of, right? Yeah, housing, or what political angle? Right. Go ahead. You registered at 18, right? I'm sorry, tell me the story.
The reason I'm running now is that I don't want to see humanity become extinct from a nuclear war started by the United States. And I see our current foreign policies as so reckless, so aggressive, so violent that they are turning the whole world against us.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, we've got Russia and China announcing, for all intents and purposes, an alliance between them. And they're allied against aggression from the United States and from NATO. In December, Russia made some demands about not expanding NATO into Ukraine and moving it any closer to Russia's border. getting offensive missiles out of Europe,
Okay.
basically backing off from near their territory. I think all of those demands were and are reasonable.
Sure.
And I think the United States should simply say, yes, we're going to sign these reasonable proposals. We're going to have NATO back off, and we're going to decrease tension in the world.
Do you have
And
any
the same thing should happen with China.
do you have any close family from other countries, or maybe like a grandparent from another country or anything like that?
Yeah, grandparents from Poland,
Okay, so just a quick question, right? Yeah.
Ukraine, and Russia.
So have you ever gotten to visit like Poland or Ukraine or Russia?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Well, but you talk to them maybe on Skype or whatever, right? Yeah, you talk to them and like what's going on in their country just once in a while, right? Yeah.
Well, I used to.
Well, okay. Being
They're
Korean
no longer
American,
living.
right? Yeah, I feel like the press gets it's so wrong, right, on my country that I just disregard, right? Yeah, like most of the things that you're saying line up with what I've heard recently. But for the most part, any news from any foreign country, I just like I don't even take it serious because like I don't even trust like the Assange thing we were talking about earlier, I don't trust that it's even true. You get what I mean? But I do think that we are on the precipice of war. I think that we've been overreaching, and I'm a direct result of imperialism here in this country. I'm very unhappy. And yeah, it's just not good. Yeah. Um,
Well, it's dangerous, and there's no reason for it. The only reason we're doing this is a whole military-industrial
but where do you learn about your
intelligence
news from? Do you like
complex has built up
yeah?
over the decades, and it profits from manufacturing weapons. It profits from conflict.
Are you in the anti-war activism like scene or something? It seems like you
Yeah,
are. Cool. So like,
yeah.
what do you do? Like, you work with certain groups and stuff, or what's up?
Well, I joined a number of groups. Black Alliance for Peace is
Cool.
one I recommend always.
Hell
They're
yeah.
terrific.
Hell yeah.
They came out of the Black Agenda Report web publication, which I try to keep up with. Yeah, Veterans for Peace, any Veterans for Peace group, it's great.
Talk to my people about it. I'll talk to people in New York about it. We'll see what we could do, brother. From the moment you opened your mouth, you was about this anti-war stuff. You was about
Yeah,
peace. So that's a good sign. I could tell that's kind of like seems to be your key topic, your key
that's
issue.
my central issue.
Yeah,
Second
that line's
issue is
good.
probably getting big money out of politics because it's pure corruption right now.
Okay. One thing that happened here in New York, right? Actually, New York's one of the worst hit states. It would be nice to hear a Democrat say it, right? Do you think that the new rules regarding the higher number of ballot petition signatures needed by third parties, would you support maybe like, them just having to get the same number as Republicans and Democrats?
Yeah, I
Damn,
actually
yo, as a Democrat,
proposed
he's
that.
saying this, yo, you're the
I
fucking man. I love it,
proposed
man.
that
Let him
in
know. Fuck the
a
leadership.
few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, why should the ballot access be that much harder
Yo, you're awesome, dude. I love
for
it, man.
third parties?
Yeah. That's fucking awesome. Just so you know, one thing that we're working with is something called um, Unified Platform for 22, right? And we're
Hmm.
still trying to cook that together. One thing that we have is high-profile candidates like uh, Jonathan Sayer, no, Diane Sayer running against Schumer and Jonathan Howe running against AOC. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a bunch of third-party independent candidates in the nation. Also, we're inviting Democrats and Republicans. And if a majority of candidates, we're trying to force the corporate duopoly and monopoly, right? Right, instead of one corporate choice or the other, to really force a conversation. And I think we've got a really good shot because Libertarians and Green Party, they both agree, right? A lot of Republicans also agree. We don't want none of these wars no more. We're just sick of this shit, yeah? And we might be able to really force that conversation as well. You get what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Are you working on ranked choice voting?
Well, okay, here's one of the funny things, right? The thing is that actually, I we went through ranked choice voting here in New York City, right? And the thing is that ranked choice voting is a improvement. Also, I've talked with equal vote, right? Star coalition, star voting, and there's also like what is it? Approval voting. There's like different styles, right? I've actually got to practice these styles in something called United People's Assembly. That's an interstate coalition of different groups. It's pretty awesome. I invite you to visit one of these days. I'm sure it's going to happen. But the thing about ranked choice voting here in New York City was a lot of the candidates, they didn't want to like they didn't want to alienate each other's factions or each other's groups. So it was hard to get them to stand on anything, and that was one of the unfortunate. And also, yeah, also the thing is that remember that for any system, right, ranked choice voting, which has some things in place to try to make things more fair and to make the third party vote a little bit less dangerous. So I appreciate that, right? But one of the things is that the remember that the establishment, they have all the money, they got all the resources, and they can game the system too. Just like they're gaming the districts, they can game. It's not like this is not an ungameable system, right? So
Right, right.
there's no magic bullet. And what I really liked about Bernie was, I know here in New York ballot selfies are illegal, but you know if we can track right our own voting. Remember those primaries, the president primaries with Pete Buttigieg? Wow, what a mess, right? Yeah, yo, I like this guy. If you guys can do some ballot integrity on the day of, you know what I mean, don't be afraid to take your own polls outside the outside the thing. And just you know what I mean, yeah, they're not gonna give this guy a fair chance. Come on. Well, you might win, right? Yeah. Oh shit, you took over. Yo, hard work matters, man. Yo, congratulations, bro. You ran five, six
All
times.
right.
I know what that means because I consider I'm like the anti-corporate consultant. You know what I mean? It's those assholes behind the scenes, right? You seen them, right? You seen them again, right? These consultants from years ago, or they dropped out. You outlasted them.
Who?
The corporate campaign
All
consultants.
my primary opponents?
The
They're
corporate, no,
gone.
not the candidates. The corporate campaign consultants behind them. See, that's who I have to face off against.
I don't know if I've ever met any.
Oh, the candidate
I
you're gonna
guess
have
I
to face
guess I
off
met a
against them?
couple.
Because
I've
I'm
I've
working for the
never
candidates
run
on
a
the front line,
corporate
so that's where the
campaign.
campaign consultants are. So the candidate gets to like make the speeches while I'm outside like battling the corporate campaign consultants. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So that's why you don't see it. That's okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Hey man, that's cool though. That's cool. I like you, man. You're all right. Let's move on. So another thing is okay. Talked about education. Talked about okay. Now the thing is that another thing that's going on right now is they're trying to end public housing as we know it. During the Obama era, there was something called RAD, right? And RAD stands for repair something, right? And the thing is that they said they can't pay for repairs in public housing, so they say they're going to have to bring in the private sector. So what they're doing is they're ending public housing as we know it, and that's why you might hear about public housing being sold or public property being sold to corporations or housing complexes. They're ending public housing, but here's the sick way that, right? Remember we were talking about earlier about UBN, how it could be like, you know, good or bad, right? Yeah, but the thing is that, right, public housing, this is what happens, right? So activists like myself were convinced to actually be okay with this. How? Well, we were told that the people who are living in public housing would be able to buy the apartments by doing repairs on them, right? Yeah. And the fact is that when it goes from public housing to privately owned, the valuation of that part of that a property can double, triple, especially in New York City. More than double, like 10 times in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And it also locks them into the community and gives them a agency. You know what I mean? As owners in the community, right? Versus permanent renters of public, right? Relying on tax, like we're trying to really help them on our way up. Now, this is controversial because at the same time, I don't want to end public housing as we know it. I still think that we should have a way for people who are destitute to, like, you know, look out for them. But still, you know, I like a plan. If we're going to get rid of the public housing, but instead of, you know, telling these people about this program, it's being sold off to corporate developers who are just going to try to make all the money by not telling the residents. So we're looking for assistance on that, and that might be able to help you, right, gain more voters because people in public housing in your district, if they know that you're working on this issue, just, you know, try to make sure you win. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if that's a
Yeah,
controversial topic in your
that's
district, who
another
knows?
complicated issue.
It is a complicated issue. There's a lot of
Uh,
abuse in that thing too. Yeah, I don't know how abusive. There's a lot of fraud and ripoffs and bad shit
what
going on.
about what about cooperative housing? Oops.
Okay, cooperative housing. Oh yeah, I love that idea. Actually, that's what we're promoting out here in New York City, right? Yeah, actually, that's the way out. They have to incorporate and create a co-op, and then
Yeah.
from there, yeah, exactly. Yo, you know what to say, man. What kind of what is this guy? This guy's really cool, man. I like you, man. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, So you not only would you support it, but you're ahead of the game on that one. Pretty cool, man. All right. So
Well, and in the financial sector,
okay.
I favor credit unions
Yeah,
over
over banks
for-profit
and
banks,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
else being equal. They can do it better. And in the electricity sector, my working career was in the state capital, Frankfurt, in the state energy office. I worked with a lot of utility companies and came to realize that electric co-ops are, can be much better at serving the needs of electric customers
Okay.
than a for-profit
Yeah.
corporation.
When you have transparency review and not like corruption, yeah, that helps a lot. You know what I mean? Hey, but
Yeah.
now the thing is that look, I like you a lot, man, and I want you to win. So let me the thing is I work with Democrats, Republicans, and all these cats out here. Now I only know New York City. I don't really. I'm not in Kentucky, right? Now out here, and I love my People's Party, right? Yeah, Keith Frank, he's fucking awesome. I love my man Mark Mixon from UPA, those other organizations, right? But the thing is that if you need the most support out here, Justice Democrats are super strong. Now, what about I'm not right with can you get the support of the squad? You seem super duper progressive. Not that the squad is necessarily the best thing in the world. They have problems too, right? Yeah, but they have the resources and the manpower. Here's the difference, right? The thing is that I'll tell you God's truth maybe it's just because AOC's out here, but on a random Thursday, you know what this means, right? Because you win this game. On a random Thursday, she can get 8 people to show up ready to knock on doors on a random Thursday. Not only that, right, but a lot of campaigns, right? I don't know about your phone banking system down there. I will fucking help you phone bank. You're fucking awesome, dude. But on a phone banking system, right, what happens is that they have some candidates, right, they can't even get 8 people on the day of calling. 8 people, right? After AOC already freaking won. After she already won, she has 8 people calling people to thank them for voting. Whoa! What? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
That's impressive.
Insane. And I
Yeah.
worked with Jamal Bowman's campaign. Those kids, they were harder working than the adults. They didn't make excuses. They didn't slack off. Those sunshine kids, holy crap. I didn't do that much for the Jamal because I saw they had that shit sewed up. So, yeah, win, motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
seem like a
So
good
the
one.
Kentucky primary is May 17th. I'm planning to win it.
Hell
I have
yeah.
only one unknown opponent, very young. And I'm going to reach out to
Justice Dems. If they
the
can support you, they have
squad,
a serious.
any progressive Dem nationwide.
Yeah. But you're already ahead of the game supporting Assange, man. What are you doing, man? They're not gonna support you. I don't know, man. I think you're a little too real for them. We're gonna see, man. Who knows, man? Yeah. But that's what I like to hear. Honestly, that's the exact kind of. Goddamn, bro, you're fucking good, man. So you have a website. You have social media. How can people find about your campaign events stuff?
Okay, yeah, best way. It's got all my other contact information. Is my website, Young for Kentucky, YOUNG 4 KY.com.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna be staying in contact. And when we do this unified platform and get the other candidates together, would you be willing to be a part of that to help us really, form something that might be
Yeah,
bigger than ourselves?
I'd like to find out more what it is, but the unified, yeah, sure, I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Well, right. It's not like we've set it in stone, right? We're gonna get. I've already had multiple coalition meetings of Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Greens, and we all agreed on stuff. We agreed Fauci should stop lying. That was the
Yeah.
hilarious one. We've actually agreed several times to support Assange, right? Yeah. We agreed to stop unnecessary military. Did we agree to stop unnecessary? We already agree on that stuff, right? So a lot of these core. Are we gonna agree on abortion or gun control? You know what? We don't need to. And that's right. You guys can do that independently, but on the core issues that the Democrats, Republicans keep bullshitting on, just push that shit through. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so it's unifying the issues is what I'm hearing.
It's just a bunch of candidates getting together, right? Yeah, and then seeing what they can agree on, right?
Yeah.
And then just saying, look, this is something maybe bigger than ourselves, right? Yeah, everybody else is talking about screw this guy, screw that guy. We came
Right.
together and we put this together. We're tired of the bullshit. We're tired of
Yeah.
the fucking corporate, oh, the reason why you got to vote for this, oh no, this bad guy, right? Yeah, no, give us something to fucking believe in. You know what I mean? Word up.
Yeah, well, I am totally focused on issues.
Okay.
And yeah, I like the idea.
Cool, man. So we'll be in contact, man. Yeah. Either way.
Oh,
And,
great.
yeah. All right. you exceeded expectations, man. This was a great interview, man. Yeah. Anything else you want to share with the audience before it's I definitely plan on following
Well,
up with more
it's
information.
the media. It has all been taken over. The mass media, the 5 or 6 huge corporations in this country, has all been taken over by the capitalist class, the billionaires, military industrial, intelligence
Yeah.
complex. And mass media, I think, is one of our biggest challenges and one of our biggest enemies. And we've got to do this alternative media thing. We have to keep the internet free of censorship. The internet was meant
what
to
is your
be
plan
free.
to solve that though? Do you have any particular ideas that you like or
Break up the 6 biggest media corporations into about 600.
some people have
We've
also
got to get our
proposed
news from a wide variety of sources. I have done that. I do that on foreign policy for the last 45 years. You have to get other sources than the mainstream. They will mislead you. They're propaganda.
what about turning
That
like
would be
Google into
my
public
parting
utility?
comment. You've got to diversify your sources of information.
No, I like that
And
better, yeah.
this
Break them
show
up.
is one.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Break them up. Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you have a monolithic control, you're gonna have problems. Yeah. So actually that does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And you get completely uniform opinions. You know, Fox News and Democrats often agree on what war we should get into next.
no quick wait before I go. Actually, I want to ask you just. I want to just get to know you a little bit more, just as a you you said you at 18, right? You registered as a Democrat. Then how did this path go towards your right? You said now you're running right to stop wars, but you ran like 4 or 5 times before. So tell me about that pathway from you registering at 18 to like becoming like running consistently again and again.
Well, from 18, let's see, till about age 55, I was a Democrat. I would always vote third party for president and Democrat for most everything else. Except, or independent. I love third parties. And then when I started running for office, I found out that the Democratic Party rigs their own primaries. And that's not legal. I mean, maybe it's legal in some states, but it's not legal in Kentucky. There's laws specifically against that. Eventually, I got tired of it. In 2020, I ran as a Republican and found out that they are exactly as corrupt and rig their own primaries the same way. So now I'm a Democrat again, and I don't know what else to say. It's the system is rigged so much against third parties that I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to beat my head against that wall.
Yeah.
I was a Green from 2009 to 2013. That's when I ran for the Kentucky House. Okay. And it was silly. The Republican incumbent never debated anyone. He just ignored us.
One idea to try to combat that is hopefully locally, right? Like how they black out like football games if they can't fill the stadium. So we're trying to get like local ordinances passed where we could they can't air like the debates unless they just allow all the candidates to speak. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So we'll see if we could get that passed. Yeah. Anyways, so
I have sued the Kentucky Democratic Party, and in 2020 I sued the Republican Party of Kentucky for rigging primaries. Okay. I have 3 petitions for certiorari right now in the U.S. Supreme Court. If I win any of those, if the Kentucky Supreme Court is overturned in any of those 3, I'm going to call you and ask for another interview to talk about
I'm honored.
Election law.
Yeah. Oh, that's whoa. I'm getting exclusive here. What? That's crazy. Appreciate it. Yeah. That is amazing. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a bipartisan. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a bipartisan pro se litigant.
Okay.
When I see corruption, I do something about it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Whistleblower, huh? Why
Yeah,
not? Why
that's
not?
right.
That's right. Me too, man. I like that. All right, cool. That makes sense. Yeah, that a whistleblower would give these answers, wouldn't they? All right, let's. So the thing is, right. So what are you most proud of accomplishing over all these years? Maybe there's two or three. I don't know. Yeah, but do you have like kind of like a star accomplishment there?
Not selling out.
Okay.
And I've had offers from various groups and people, and there are strings attached, and I won't do it. I don't pander,
Okay.
and I don't think I'm corruptible. If I get in there, or when I get into Washington, I'm not going to be corrupted.
Okay. So here's okay. Ooh, here's a killer question then, right? Here's usually one that I usually end on. Yeah. This might not be the end. You're pretty interesting, but let's see. So the thing is that a lot of people talk about fighting corruption, okay? But in your life, you probably have seen corruption, right? Yeah. You ready to name a name or point something out, or where the corruption at, buddy? Yeah. Show me.
Judges.
Show me, huh? Dutches?
In Kentucky, it's judges.
Okay.
They only obey the law when they feel like it.
Yeah.
When
And they're
there's
appointed by the
no,
Democratic Committee or the Republicans a lot too, right? They control the judges, right?
yeah, they do. The judges are elected in Kentucky. I don't know about New York. Do they
Okay.
run for office?
Some of
Are they
them, some
elected
of
there
them.
or appointed?
Well, yeah, but the thing is that also like a lot of people, some there's appointments, and then also some people are made. You know what I mean? So some people are
Yeah,
kind of like room for the position, and a lot of people aren't paying attention,
yeah.
and you just see the most trash. Like, yo, you know who Grace Meng is? She's on the DNC, right? Yeah, right. Yo, like the DNC is super corrupt, right? Yeah, it's like it's not
I
like I
do
would
know
think.
that.
Yeah, I would think like association with the DNC would tank your whole career, right? Sandra Ung, right? Grace, her whole campaign was Grace Meng thinks I'm cool, and Grace Meng is on the DNC, and somehow she won. What? I'm like, yo, like no, DNC should just be a negative connotation, but what?
So yeah, I
Bizarro
mean,
weirdo
in
shit. Yeah,
Kentucky, they're not even subtle about it.
they're not really.
There, you probably know that if there's a civil lawsuit and somebody files a motion to dismiss, which in Kentucky they always do, the judge is supposed to assume that the allegations in the complaint are correct, and they're not allowed to dismiss a case unless it's like suing somebody for witchcraft or something. It's something just ridiculous that could never possibly be valid. Right, but I always file valid complaints, and judges always throw them out. That's what all my appeals are about. They throw them out just because, they hate me. They don't like anybody challenging the establishment. They don't care which party. Both parties are establishment. So I've had a Democratic judge throw out one of my cases by saying, well, no, this definition, that's not really what it means. He changed the law.
Yeah,
You're
they
probably
interpret
aware that
things.
judges are not allowed to amend statutes, right?
Yo,
This judge did it.
Yeah, and that's how they get like those rulings from like Cuomo to like put people back in nursing homes. Like they're completely controlled, right? They're party machine like assistants, really. To like get the vital things that they want to get done when they want to get it done. So it's
Right.
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got the judges. That's probably the center of corruption in Kentucky. I don't know. I mean, there are probably some corrupt industries, coal industry and all that, but
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, they're like kind of like the final line, and when they buckle, it's not a good
yes,
thing. Yeah.
the final line. That's right.
Yeah, you arrive there, and what you got left? Yeah, the judge. Yeah. All right. So, hey man, that was fucking incredible, bro. There's definitely a lot more that I want to catch up with you, but I think this is gonna be ongoing. So thanks a lot. Is there anything else you wanna Did you share your website and all that? Oh, you said yeah.
I did. Yeah,
George
Young for Kentucky.
Congress.com. George for Congress.
Young, Young, number 4, KY, Kentucky.
Oh, Young for
dot
Kentucky.
com.
Yeah, Young for Kentucky. What about
Young for
Twitter or
KY.com.
do you do any of those other things, Twitter or Facebook,
Yeah,
anything?
yeah. I can't keep up with all of them.
Yeah.
I need to delegate some of that.
You're frankly
Have
an
somebody
incredible
do my
candidate, yeah?
Twitter.
Are there any other
What?
candidates that are like you that you know of?
Any
Any other
candidates?
candidates like you that you're working with or you know of? If you come across any, let me know, yeah?
There's a couple other Kentucky Democrat. One of them, Charles Booker, is running for the U.S. Senate against Rand Paul.
Okay.
And although I've said some good things about Rand Paul in the past, on foreign policy, I'm supporting Charles Booker this year because overall he would be much better for our state and for the country.
Well, I'll try to get him on the show too. Honestly, as a Democrat, you are very surprising. I did not expect these answers at all. I mean, yeah.
Well, thanks.
Watch
I like to surprise people.
Watch my interview with Democrats up here. I see Assange, and then you see the look of fear in their eyes, like oh my God, like he's asking me, like yeah, I am, yeah. And you said yes
Well,
with
so
no fear, yeah. And then
any
you spoke
tough
third party.
questions?
What? This is ridiculous, yeah.
Any tough questions you haven't asked yet? Or
You know what?
should we?
Actually, I'm just I'm fucking. What is this? A Democrat? I'm still like mind blown. So I know it does occur, yeah, and yeah, I've actually seen it before, so I shouldn't be that mind blown. It's right in some communities, but I've just been locked so locally in this stuff. So, yo, man, you're inspiration, man. Thank you, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
See you
Talk
on
with
the
you
next one,
later.
man. All right, God bless.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.